Hi, this is Kate. Welcome to In the Studio with Kate. Today I'm going to share some of the artwork that I've done in my studio this past week actually. The first thing I'm going to show you, I showed you as a work in progress last week, and it is the portrait I was doing on red rosin paper, and it's the lady in blue, so there she is. She changed a little bit from last week. I really like working on this red rosin paper. Not really, quite a bit different from working on canvas, but this is where she evolved to. I don't know if I'm going to do any more on her, so we're just going to set her aside for now. And the other things that I've been working on are for the class called 12D that I talked about last week. It's a course where you concentrate on doing some work in a certain color every month. I've done some stuff on paper, but since the beginning of 12D, I've been doing a set of art prayer flags, and this one is for Red Violet, and here she is. I'd like to tell you a little about how she was created. I started with just this background fabric here. And when I was taking this fabric, I noticed all the different shapes that are in it. So I cut one of the shapes and decided it looked like a woman. So I turned her into, started with that fabric, used some muslin to make the face and arms, and threw a little paint on them to give them a little bit of color. This is a piece of hand-dyed lace that I got in exchange years ago, and I was going to put that right on the waistline, but then I decided it looked better on the bodice of her gown. And then the hair is yarn. I'm going to pull it a little bit closer so you can see. It's a very textured yarn, and what it is, it's a hair with a stitch called couching, which is basically thread going over it, so it's all tacked down so it can't move. When I got to about here, I braided the yarn. It's 3 different strands, and then also tack that down as well. And I really like the way she turned out. The other flag that I worked on was for the color red. And this one evolved in a couple different ways. I started with just this fabric and then the red. And then I stamped on the red with just stamping ink and a stamp that looked similar to this background. Then I kind of got stuck for a little bit, didn't know what to do with it. And my friend Cynthia gave me the idea of doing some fish on top, like that was like this surface is the bottom of an aquarium or such. So I added these koi fish, and I'll go a little closer so you could see them. They were really a lot of fun to actually create. I painted just directly on, drew the shaper in the fabric and then painted directly on it. And that was really a whole lot of fun. Those are the 3 pieces that I worked on this week. The other thing I wanted to talk about was using a studio log. And this is just a sketchbook that I turned into a studio log, and it's where I write notes when I have some ideas of what kind of paintings I'd like to make. Just as a couple different examples I'll show you. Just going to do some stuff with some sea type things. So there's some drawings of some jellyfish I made. And then this is a drawing of some shells and some sea urchins. I don't know how well you'll be able to even see that, but it gives you an idea of ideas I'll just put down in the book. And then sometimes I'll take pictures of work in progress or the final piece. I mean, like I took a picture of the final piece of the blue lady with the blue hair, and just my notes about what I did when I started, how I felt about the process, how I felt at the ending. And it's just a way for me to document what I've done It helps me in doing future work to see what I had done before. So I highly recommend you, if you're an artist watching this, to start creating a studio log. It gives you a record of where you've been and where you want to go, and it's just kind of a nice thing to have actually in your studio. One other thing I thought I would share is how I end a project and begin a project. So like after I finished painting the lady with the blue hair, I put all the paints away, cleaned all my brushes, anything extraneous that I had hanging around in the area that didn't belong, I cleaned that up. Then I start thinking about what I'm going to work on next. And I will set the materials out, like if it's a canvas, if it's paint. So I set everything, so I kind of like I have a little workstation, have everything set up. So for the next time I come into my studio, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. It just kind of sets the stage for new work to happen and clears out the area for anything from the previous piece. So I like having a new slate, if you want to call it that. It kind of sets this day in motion, and that works really well for me. As to what's going to happen this week in the studio, I have a picture that I took of a walk, and I'm going to paint that on canvas. You can see in the corner here, there's an easel with a canvas on it and a picture. That's where I'm going to be working on that piece. And the other interesting thing that happened is I looked for that canvas. I found a few other unfinished things that I had set aside. And I brought them all into the studio, and they had them all sitting on the desk next to that first canvas. And then I decided I didn't want to do that because I felt a little distraction between what I want to work on next and these other pieces that need to be finished. So I kind of left them in the studio, but I set them aside so that when I come in here to start working on this one painting, I'm not going to look at all the other ones and say, oh no, I want to work on that or that, or I kind of get distracted. For me, if I have more of a focus of what I'm going to be working on, then I have a better chance at actually completing that. So that's my information for this week. I'll be working, like I said, on that, at least on that one painting, and who knows what else. But if you tune in next week, you'll find out. So I hope you enjoyed the video this week, and we'll see you. Bye.